Hey guys, I want to give you some answers and feedback on this uh, verb tense review through reading skills. So first of all, if you had problems reading this text, then you know you need to work on your reading because this text came from your level 2 reader. So if this was difficult for you to read and understand, then I strongly urge you to read every day in English because your ability to read is lower than it should be, and it'll get in your way of being able to write a response when we get into the essays. Okay, so in the second sentence, the main verb is have. Why is it used in the present simple? What kind of verb is it? What are some other reasons to use the present simple? And what are some state verbs that you know? So let's get into a discussion about state verbs. There's also another worksheet in Tuesday's folder about state verbs. So after you've listened to this video, I'd say go look at that worksheet. So the main verb is have, and it's used in the present simple because it's a state verb. Have, when we talk about possession or ownership, is stative, and stative verbs are rarely used in a progressive or continuous tense. We use the present simple, obviously, to talk about facts, routines, timetables, stative verbs, and things that are generally true. Other state verbs include belong, seem, be, are verbs of senses, so smell, touch, taste, are verbs of intellect, know, understand, are verbs of emotion, love, hate, like, and these verbs again are rarely used in a continuous or progressive form. You do hear people say wanting or I'm loving it, McDonald's. It's incorrect grammar. So remember, we're focused on academic grammar and writing 3, not colloquial grammar, not the grammar you hear when you speak informally to your friends. In the second paragraph, the present perfect verb in the first sentence. Let's go to the first sentence. The internet has made the issue more complicated. So why am I using the present perfect here? It's because we don't know when this action happened. So this is an example of the present perfect used for an action that is technically complete, but the time is unknown. It's unspecified. So we know it's happened sometime before now, but we don't know when. So time in effect is still open, and that's why it's present perfect. We're going to work more on the present perfect together. So if you are confused on this point, please bring your questions to our Zoom meeting. Other uses of the present perfect simple. Either the time or the action is unfinished. So actions that start in the past but have no stopping point. Actions like, how long have you known your best friend? Or how long have you lived in your house? Or how long have you worked at your job? They're typically present perfect because there's no finite, definite point at which the action stops. We also use the present perfect simple when the action is finished, but the result is in the present. Like, whoa, I've just had a baby. My life is totally different. We use the present perfect simple when time is unfinished, right? So life experience, because all of us are still alive. We all have timelines with arrows on them. And we might have that experience again. Time is also unfinished with certain phrases like this month, this week, this year, because they include this present moment, and therefore time is unfinished. This also introduces, this exercise also reviews the concept of simple, compound, complex, and compound complex sentences. There is a worksheet in today's folder to review these concepts if you're a little fuzzy. But this sentence, however, hate speech cannot always be kept within national borders, comma, fanboy, and the internet has made the issue more complicated, is a compound sentence. It's 2 independent clauses that are connected with a comma and a fanboy. In the last 4 sentences of this passage, which verb tense is mainly used? Why, What two factors must be finished to use the past simple? So we know that this is the past simple because time is finished and the action is finished. Both conditions need to be true to use the past simple. If either time or the action is unfinished, you're in the present perfect. And that's the big difference between the present perfect and the past simple. The passage contains two modal verbs. What are they? How are they used? List the 9 modals of English, and what 4 factors are unique to modal verbs. Okay, so your modals are will, would, shall, should, may, might, can, could, and must. Please see that have is not a modal. Modals are used, modals are unique in English because they have no tense. So when we tell you could is the past of can, we've lied to you. We've simplified the language structure because I can use could to talk about a future possibility. It could rain tomorrow. Modals use themselves to form questions in negative, like the verb to be. For example, I cannot swim. Can you swim? So there, can is the helping verb and the main verb. Modals have no present simple S form. I don't say he can swim. I say he can swim. Modals are always, 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 always followed by verb 1 or the infinitive without 2. It's I can swim, not I can swimming, and not I can to swim. That's why modals are unique in English. So they are their own helping verbs. They have no tense. There's no present simple S form, and they're always, always, always followed by verb 1. In general, we use progressive tenses to stress that an action is temporary, that it's being repeated, that it's unfinished, or that it takes a long time, it has some length. And we're going to look at the aspect of language throughout the next 3 weeks as we do a more detailed review of verb tenses. I strongly urge you to do this next exercise out loud for some speaking practice. The questions are intentionally silly to make you laugh and show you that learning can be fun. So why were you sitting on the roof of building B last Thursday night? I was sitting on the roof of building B last Thursday night because I wanted to see the stars. Here I have a complex sentence. Why were you being chased by a policeman down Solemn Street last Friday night? I was being chased by a policeman down Solemn Street last Friday night because I had stolen a piece of candy. Why were you standing on your head outside the city cinema last Saturday? I was standing on my head outside the city cinema last Saturday to protest the lockdown. Why were you throwing Coke cans at Mr. Matt's door last weekend? I was throwing Coke cans at Mr. Matt's door last weekend because I wanted to see if he was home, and if he was at home, I wanted to speak some English with him. Why were you singing happy birthday at the top of your lungs in the bazaar? I was singing happy birthday at the top of my lungs in the bazaar to make people laugh. Just some examples. Okay, after you've listened to this, consult the 2 worksheets that I mentioned in today's folder and then refer to the PowerPoint for the rest of your directions for today's work. Thanks.